Forget the Prime Minister for the moment. Put any other person in this video which was posted on social media. Put the Chief Justice, Brian Sykes. Put the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Brooks. Put any other person you wish to put in this video that Shaquille Higgins recorded. Make sure the person you put there is not a politician. The problem with the politicians is that we treat them as the dregs of the society. We can say anything to them we feel. We refer to them as thieves, as liars, as scoundrels. And they're supposed to take it because they're public servants. It is perhaps one of the worst professions in the world for anybody to aspire to or to become, because we treat them like dogs. There's another side to it, because it's like big state. Big state can come down on the small man. Big state can use its power to cramp people's styles in imaginable ways. But let's hold off on that for the moment. Any person in this country who thinks that this society can operate without some level of decency, without some conduct that is not so outrageous and abhorrent that even if you watch something 1 year after it was posted, the blood boils in your vein like fire, even when it is not hurled at you. If you think a society can operate without laws dealing with that, you go examine your head. One of the worst things that anybody can tell somebody in Jamaica, the absolute worst things that cause people to be charged for murder, is to tell them to go and extract something from their mother. And it is one of the first things that people hurl at others. In a minor disagreement, in a major disagreement, in the byway, in the highway, and now in 21st century world, it gets posted on social media, which is a highway like no other. Social media is a public space. It's a public thoroughfare. So if you record something in your little nook, whether you do it as a selfie or somebody records you and you put it on social media, it becomes a public issue. I don't want to live in any society, none whatsoever, where it's okay at any point in time for anybody to go tell somebody to go do something with their mother. Let me tell you something, man. If I'm driving on the road and I bad drive somebody, or they feel I bad drive them and they said that, oh my God, the rage that comes up inside of me. And even the Pope would be outraged. The people with the greatest control over their emotions would be outraged. So it is not okay. Never okay, and we must make it very clear. It is not okay for anybody to go record anything and tell anybody, including the Prime Minister, to go and do something with his mother. It is not okay. And if you don't have a problem with it, put the Chief Justice's face in it. Put the Chief Justice's name. Replace the person with the Chief Justice. And see if they get a sentence before the Chief Justice that they don't like. And they come out and they say those things about the Chief Justice. How would you feel? Or put anybody. Put the pastor of your church. There's a freedom that we're all born with. We're not given the freedom by the Constitution. But no society can be completely free to the point where there are no laws governing what goes on. People, words cut. Words incite violence. And whereas in pre-social media dispensation, when you say something, you say it in your yard and nobody now hear you, except your neighbor, whose ears have to be violated by your nastiness. When you know, put it on social media. A lot of dangers come with it. We cannot continue to live in a world, and I've been saying it for the longest while, you cannot call me on this station. You cannot call any other traditional media and say the things that you're allowed to say on social media. How can it be? We cannot continue to operate in a space that is ungoverned. It is going to lead to our downfall. And it is going to normalize indecency. I'm not into this issue of bad words. Because anybody who wants to trivialize this to bad word, based on this, the utterance of this young man, Shaquille Higgins, you've lost the plot. The most lenient part of what this young man said was the bad word. And I don't consider it a bad word, as a matter of fact, because no word is bad. Words by themselves have no meaning. It is in the context that they're used that one determines what exactly was intended. But in absolutely no situation whatsoever, none whatsoever, is an admonition to go and do something with your mother. Can it have a pleasant meaning? None. And in this society, and indeed in a lot of Caribbean and African society, in no society can you reference to somebody as a homosexual within our cultural context be flattering. And even that is so wrong, because the science is telling us now that in many instances, homosexuality is not a choice. And even if it is a choice, we go back to freedom to choose, where your freedom is not impacting anybody else. And it's fundamentally different from the freedom to say whatever you want to say, and you say a thing that is so culturally offensive that it incites violence. It incites people to do harm to you. And in this context too, that is politically charged, when you go and say something about a prime minister that belongs to a particular party and you post yourself on social media, you don't think that when you walk the road, people from the other side may say, "The boy, they say something about the prime minister." You don't think so? I'm telling you, as much as we are very liberal, there are good reasons for some laws. Decency, a correct pattern of behavior and some things that are culturally offensive, they are culturally offensive for a particular reason and will remain so. And one of those is to tell somebody what that young man told the Prime Minister to do. If the Prime Minister if he'd said it quietly, then nobody would have heard it. If he had said it in this little community with this young boy who was there with him, nobody would have heard it. He would have infuriated no one. He would have let off his steam and he could have gone to his bed, and the curfew restrictions would stop him from going to whatever session he wants to go to, but it doesn't become a big issue. But when he puts it out to the world, months from now when people watch it, people are going to be upset, because when I watch it, I was livid. Because I'm thinking, if this young man had said this about me, send me go do this thing, I would be quite upset. And more than upset, if he was standing in front of some people, them floor him. That is the reaction that phrase evokes in people in this context. And we need to tell people it is not okay to talk to people that way. It is never okay. And when you do it, saying things on social media is talking to an unseen audience. That is millions. The police must be reminded and must be chastised that they don't have the right to act as they wish in whatever circumstances, where they feel a law has been broken or whether they feel whatever it is they feel. You don't have the right to do some things.